All right, let's talk about an organ that we almost never think about, but is absolutely essential: the pancreas. It's a real unsung hero in our bodies, and today we're going to get into why it's so important and what happens when it gets seriously inflamed.
So here it is, kind of tucked away deep inside our abdomen. The best way to think about the pancreas is like a super sophisticated chemical factory, just working 24/7 behind the scenes. It is absolutely crucial for breaking down the food we eat and for managing our energy. I mean, without the tools it makes, our bodies just couldn't get the nutrients from our food.
So what exactly is its job? Well, it has a couple of major roles. It helps manage our blood sugar for sure, but the role we're going to focus on today is its job as a digestive powerhouse.
Now, its main gig in digestion is what's called its exocrine function. Basically, it creates this potent cocktail of digestive enzymes. You can think of these enzymes as a tiny molecular demolition crew, and each one has a very specific tool to break down every part of a meal into tiny pieces the body can actually absorb.
And what's so cool is how precise this process is. First, it pumps out bicarbonate to calm down all that harsh acid coming from the stomach. That creates the perfect work environment. Then it sends out a specialized enzyme for each and every food group, one for proteins, like meat, another for fats, and a different one for carbs, like bread. It's just an incredibly efficient system.
But what happens when there is an industrial accident at this chemical factory? What if those incredibly powerful digestive enzymes spill before they're supposed to be used? Well, that's when you get a very serious condition called pancreatitis.
In short, all the safety features fail. Those very same enzymes that are designed to break down your lunch suddenly get activated too early, and they start, digesting the pancreas itself. And this process of self-digestion kicks off this massive inflammatory reaction that causes incredible pain and serious damage.
So, what would cause such a dangerous internal fire to start in the first place? Let's play detective for a minute and see what the evidence usually points to. Now, while there are a bunch of different potential triggers, the vast majority of cases really boil down to just two main culprits. Any ideas what they might be?
Take a look at this number, 70 to 80%. That is a huge majority. It means that for most people who get acute pancreatitis, it's triggered by one of just two things.
And here they are, the two usual suspects: gallstones and alcohol abuse. These two are, by a huge margin, the most common triggers for this really painful condition.
Let's start with gallstones. Think of this like a major plumbing problem. As you can see here, the pancreas and the gallbladder share a drain pipe, basically. If a gallstone gets stuck in that pipe, it's like a clog. Nothing can get out. So all those digestive juices back up into the pancreas. The pressure builds, and that's what can flip the switch and activate those enzymes way too early.
Now, of course, it's not always gallstones or alcohol. There's a whole list of other, much rarer causes, things like incredibly high levels of fats in the blood called triglycerides, physical injury, or even certain viruses. But these are definitely the exceptions, not the rule.
So, a fire has started in the pancreas, but how does this problem, which starts in one little spot, escalate to affect the entire body? This is where things can get really serious.
See, an inflamed pancreas doesn't keep the problem to itself. It starts flooding the bloodstream with all these chemical distress signals. It's pretty much the biological version of a factory fire, setting off alarms that can be heard all across the city.
And this is where it becomes truly dangerous. Those alarms trigger a body-wide state of emergency. It's not just a local fire anymore. The inflammation spreads everywhere through the bloodstream, and it can start to damage other organs far away, like the lungs, the kidneys, and the liver. And that can lead to multi-organ failure.
This huge inflammatory response, both locally and throughout the body, can lead to some pretty severe, and sometimes even permanent, complications.
So right at the source, the damage can be just devastating. All that inflammation can cause fluid to leak out and form this painful collection called a pseudocyst. In the absolute worst cases, parts of the pancreas can actually die. That's called necrosis. And if bacteria get into any of this mess, you can get a life-threatening abscess.
And this slide just gives you such a clear picture of what can happen. On the left, you've got the diagram of a normal, healthy system, but then you look at the right. See that huge dark circle on the CT scan? That is a massive pseudocyst, a big pocket of inflammatory fluid that formed because of a severe attack of pancreatitis. The difference is just stark.
And here's another really serious outcome. Those little arrows are pointing to tiny black dots. That's actually gas inside a fluid collection, and gas is a dead giveaway for one thing: infection. It means this has turned into a dangerous abscess that needs to be dealt with, and fast.
And all of this really leaves you with one final thought. Pancreatitis is just a powerful and pretty scary reminder of the incredibly delicate chemical balance our bodies are maintaining every single second of the day. It shows you just how interconnected everything is, and it's a good lesson that this unsung hero is absolutely worth protecting.